Hi, everybody. Welcome to The New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. And today we are going back to school. We're celebrating little Ruby in 1960. Well, I'm going to give you all the details right after this with Satoshi Shawn, because I've got a lot of questions as I dug into this. You know, my questioning minds want to know. So dig into it with us. Give us a like, share the video. Hey, Shawn, how are you?
Hey, Lisa, I'm pretty good.
I don't know if I can leave these on because my light gets like a lot of blur on them. But
Part of the charm of the giant glasses.
of the giant glasses is the reflection, the giant reflection
Every time they look at you, yeah.
of my vanity
Remember
light.
the 80s and 90s with giant glasses?
My sister had some they were like almost square but rounded square, and they had like a butterfly right here.
I remember the butterfly, and it was.
Remember that?
I was swimming.
And they would be faded like purple.
Yeah,
or pink.
we went swimming, and my friend's mom had it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. There's a little dove there, or whatever." And then like we're swimming, and then I was talking to her, and the dove was like in the middle. If anything else, if you want something, you need to get it yourself. You just
Oh my God.
And she was always weird. That was a weird like I'm like I want contacts. And okay, well, we go get contacts, insurance, blah, blah, blah. And then, 2 weeks later, it's like, hey, I need this solution. She's like, oh, you better hustle. What are you going to do? But I have to have it. Yeah, glasses. So I'd have to like go mow lawns or something so I could buy my. But then I would be wearing pants that were like faded out or, got a hole in them. She's like, why aren't you wearing those pants? I'm like, I don't have the pants. She's like, why didn't you just tell me I'll buy you some pants? I'm like, you're confusing me, Mom.
Yeah, it is confusing for kids. I know. It's confusing.
But all they had was giant glasses, and I already have a giant head. I've always been giant, so my glasses were so big, so heavy. They would constantly slide down. Like I couldn't look down without them sliding down.
Oh, I didn't. And the larger
They
this,
weighed like a
and
pound.
they get thicker on the edge. Well, if you're myopic, so it just depends.
Nobody knows. I used to tell people that, like I have myopia.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing they can do to. There's nothing they can do to cure it. And it's like, oh, that's terrible. Yeah. And it just means you need to wear glasses.
Like saying, I have a hematoma.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a bruise? Wow.
Yeah.
You'll live. You'll live. You'll live. Oh, look what I got this weekend. This is not for sale. And it's a little creepy, but I love her. It's my Alice down the rabbit hole.
I remember when they used to not be creepy when girls liked just dolls.
Yeah, I know. Why did dolls become creepy? I was very upset by that. My daughter, I bought her all these like really expensive collector dolls when she was little. And then I was, once we divorced and I left her room intact at her father's house when I moved out, and I was like, well, what did you do with all your dolls? And she's like, my God, I threw them away. They scared the hell out of me. And I'm like, oh.
I was thinking about that because like some Pokemon cards are worth like $1 million or something.
Yeah.
I was talking with Alex and I was like, you need to sell these things at a certain point because people are less, like baseball is less popular now than it ever has been.
Mm-hmm.
And baseball cards are going to be going down. So everything goes in.
It does go in cycles.
Like in cycles. And like dolls. They were like super collectible. I mean,
even Hummels though.
That's what I
Hummels were super collectible. Then you could get one in a million.
That's what I brought up. And Precious Moments.
Oh, right. But Hummels are now having a resurgence because a lot of people that are now like starting families have a memory of their grandparents having them.
Yeah, it did skip that generation though, because like
it did skip a generation. But
my ex-wife, like she loved him because her mother loved him, her grandma, and then like my kids, like my nieces,
they don't care. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like those. They're still little people running around.
The other thing that's coming back is carnival glass. like that depression glass that has
Refreshing glass, yeah.
the iridescent kind of look to it. Like
Yeah.
this is coming back like crazy. I don't know if you can see the iridescent on the camera. It's kind
Yeah,
of
you can. You can very well.
it's like super popular again.
And like, isn't the green like worth more because it has uranium or something?
The ice blue is the most popular. The that marigold is very popular for some reason. The orange and green is very popular.
Doesn't green have like some kind of radioactive thing in it that makes it that?
Oh no, you're thinking of uranium glass. That's in my kitchen.
It glows. There's
The
that.
custard, it kind of looks matte and it's kind of looks like a buttery color, or you can find it white.
But
It
if you turn off
depends.
the light, it glows, right?
It's not turning off the light. You have to have a black light on
Oh,
it. Yeah, you turn off the light, put a black light on it,
okay.
and
Black
then
light.
it
That's a
glows.
whole other
Mhm.
thing that used to be. I used to have like posters in my room, like
Oh God, my husband told me this. Oh, I think he was trying to impress me, but I just was horrified. He was like, "Oh yeah, when once my big brothers moved out, like I got the whole upstairs, and it's like an attic, like the roof is kind of like lowered or whatever. It's not like it's not meant to be a room or
yeah,
whatever." And he's like, "I had black lights running all down the center, and then I had like black light posters all along." And I'm just thinking like, yuck.
like a haunted house. Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like a haunted house, and he thought that was so
Oh,
cool.
I got my mom went nuts. I got this big black light poster, and it was like the Grim Reaper, but he's like red, and it said like "Heaven doesn't want me" or "Hell's afraid I'm going to take over." And I had on the back of my door, no one saw it, and I had like two other black light posters. And like she came in and she's like, "What is this?"
And your mother was like a pastor.
Yeah, she was calling. She was calling the pastor to come over. What? And you can't explain that when you're a kid. You're like, I don't really think that. No, I'm just rebellious. But she's like, why would you put that there? Why do you think that? Why do you think you can't go to hell? It's like, you can go to hell. Is they're not going to kick you out?
And you're like, I'm only doing it for
Like,
this reaction,
I
Mom.
know that, Mom. I know. Just really, I thought people would think I was cool when they come in my room. We shut the door. Thought maybe a girl would kiss me. It's like,
Literally just doing it for the cool
yeah,
factor, Mom.
yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
But yeah, they like Hummels used to be worth
Poor
tons
Mom.
of money, and then they're nothing. Nobody wants them. And
And
it was
they're
like
coming back?
it was like a phenomenon. Like any girl, I mean, when I was like, you could be like, "Hey, I bought you this," but there was Hallmark, the Hallmark store, Precious Moment. There was a Precious Moments store. It was
There still is in Missouri. There's a chapel. You can get married there.
see that was.
Yeah, it's a whole
I
thing.
remember when I was looking for a job. There was like no job.
Carthage. I think it's
I
Carthage,
went into
Missouri.
the Hallmark store and the Hummel store. I'm like, yeah, you're out looking to hire, and they looked at me like, what?
Yeah, a bull in a china
Yeah,
closet,
they were like,
literally. No way.
they like looked at us like, are you joking? I was like, no, I would need a job. I'm 19 and
No.
I need a job.
They're like, let us see the size of your hands.
They're like,
No.
no, we're not hiring. Uh, please step out. Get away from that. What are you doing?
Carefully. Don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Back away. Back away from the breakables, sir. Oh, gosh.
There's gonna come a point like my grandkid is nuts about Pokemon. But it pisses me off because now they're like, they're like the most. I think they're the most expensive they've ever been. That they ever will be, because now like this generation doesn't know what the hell they are, and it's been so long since the original that it's just gonna be like saturated. So I think, but buying them for them now, it's like they're stupid expensive. So I had a really, I want to tell you this before I start. So I called my son Nick, and I'm like, "What do the kids want for Christmas? I'm starting to buy stuff." And and
And John is ridiculously generous at Christmas. Well, all the time, but
oh yeah, I got you. I got
overboard.
everyone this cool present that I'm gonna send you already. But anyway, so he's like, "Oh, okay, well their mom's picking them up. I'm cooking. We'll call you when they get here." Forgets to call me. And Ted and Alex, I told you they're like old men. They go to sleep so early. like 8, oh, it's 8:30. I better turn it. And it's weird. It's weird.
Mhm.
But anyway, so they call me like at 9, and Nick's like, "Oh, I forgot to call you," but they're on speakerphone, and I was like, "The kids are up. Tenants are like completely out. It's like 9." But Oliver on the phone, he goes, "Granddad, so you want me to tell you what I want for Christmas?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, I know what I want." I said, "Okay." He said, "I want the greatest present ever." And I was like, "Okay, what is it?" He goes, "I don't know. You gotta find it. I don't know what it is. That's what I want."
But it better be good.
Yes, that's what I want. I want a greatest present. I was okay. And then I was like talking to, Nora, and he kept interrupting people because he would think of something. He goes, "Oh, wait. I want a robot dinosaur and a robot." And then he's like,
Oh
"Oh,"
yeah,
and
he
then
loves
Nora would say
dinosaurs.
something. She's like, "I want those plastic stars that you could stick on your ceiling and they
Oh,
glow." I was like, "Okay, that's easy, yeah." And then Oliver grabs his phone. She's like, "Oliver," he's like, "That sounds good. I want one of those too."
he's like, keep my list running. I keep a tab open.
Yeah, I was like trying to write this stuff down, and
That's
then
so
and then Nora's like, "I want a trash can," and I was, "Ah, ha ha ha," it's like, and then she goes, "No, I really do. I need a small one for my room. I don't have one. I really need one." Like, and then Nick's like, "You don't have to get that for Christmas, Nora. We can just get you a little trash
we
can."
can just get you a trash.
I was like, "No, let me get that. That's easy." So hard to buy for,
Yeah,
'cause she's like
she's
12, 13.
preteen. Yes.
Yeah, and she's like really smart.
Ooh, I have a cool vintage one. If
She's
she's into
into.
that.
She took, I think, 5 elective classes. I don't
Really?
know how she does it. She's in like band, art, drama, um, tennis, and
Wow.
something else. Like 5. Me and Nick were like, "There's no way that she can handle it." And I was like, "But
Yeah,
she's
but she
she's
loves it.
she's handling it."
That's
But
so cool.
Oliver said it was very sad. Actually, it made me super sad because I don't see them very often.
Mm.
They don't live very far away. And he was like, I just want to see you guys. I'm happy you're coming over for Thanksgiving." And then they said, "Well, I'm actually working for Thanksgiving." I was like, "Yeah, but you'll come over a day before or a day after or something."
Right.
And then Oliver said, "Granddad, I want you to come to my grandma's for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
We can have a big one and bring you." And that's, his mother's parents. I haven't ever met them. Um, I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, you can come and you could meet grandma and you get to know each other. And you could exchange water, burp maybe, and it's like, what?"
what?
Just rambling on. Because I think because he probably read the room and got tense. Because Nick's like, "You can't invite people to your grandmother's.
To other people's houses.
You can't invite people to other people's houses for Thanksgiving and all." And then I told Ted this story. He said, "I think Charlie Brown and his grandma would beg to differ." And I was like, "Yeah, that's the Thanksgiving Charlie Brown.
Ah,
They
okay.
try to have it, but all he has is like toast and popcorn. Everyone gets mad at him, and then he's late for his grandma's. He calls his grandma calls. She's like, "Are you coming over? You're late." And he's like, "Yeah, I was trying to have Thanksgiving with my friends. Everyone's mad at me because all I have popcorn and toast." And then she's like, "Bring him over." So everybody goes to Charlie Brown's grandmother's and has like this big
It
Thanksgiving.
has a wonderful thing. See, Grandma saves the day. That's
And I
nice.
think that is it. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful. That's next week, right? We got one more week till Thanksgiving.
Is it?
It
I know.
is.
I know it was Black Friday on the 1st of November.
I know it's been Black Friday every week, every
Yeah.
day, ever
Every.
since
Oh,
they
yeah.
they went right into Black Friday. Like there really wasn't even much
I forgot about it.
Halloween.
And it was weird. And I noticed this like a couple of years ago. Black Friday was a bigger holiday. It's not a
And
holiday
Christmas.
period. No, than Thanksgiving was.
Yeah, it is the
Thanksgiving,
holiday because we are consumers. That's
we
all we care
Christmas is,
about.
and we went from literally, and everyone complained about Halloween to Christmas
Mhm.
decorations. Thanksgiving is because there's nothing but being thankful and family. There's no commercials.
Well, I'll never forget my oldest son. He's now, God, he'll be 27 in January. And he married and, a big boy. But when he was little, it was one of the years where like they started like really doing the mass runs, opening the doors, and the media was pushing it, and people were dying, literally like getting mauled, run
Yeah.
over by the masses and stuff.
Getting mauled at the mall.
Getting mauled at the mall. And he was like, okay, wait. He's like sitting in the car, little tiny thing, in his little car seat. And he's like, so on Thanksgiving, we talk about what we're thankful for, and that we're great, all the things we're grateful for. But then on Thursday and then on Friday, they go out and run over each other to get more stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
I mean, that's why they're pushing it, because, but I thought that was, I commented on that a long time ago, how that was like, because it was like big Black Friday was, it's not a holiday. It's not,
No.
but it became
But to be honest, a lot of the holidays are Hallmark made up holidays, to be honest.
Right, but Thanksgiving isn't.
But Thanksgiving in itself is kind of a myth, and
no, it's not. It's not a myth. There's Canada has Thanksgiving. A lot of countries have Thanksgiving. They set aside a day to just be thankful, and
kind of. It's just the story's not always the same for everyone.
Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. Wherever it's celebrated, it's family, thankfulness, and taking a time to stop. No matter how crazy your life is, how crazy your year is.
It's just like you can say Easter is about really the birth of Christ. But when you go into the pagan ritual side of it, the eggs and the bunny and all that stuff, it's like, well, we know what they were pushing. You could say the same thing about Thanksgiving. Well, we know what the intention of most Americans, Thanksgiving is about being grateful, community, family, all that. But we also know, like, we came in and moved the Indians out. They weren't really like bringing us corn because they're so grateful. We were giving them blankets and killing them.
No,
they were taking over their land.
When the Pilgrims, they were like very thankful, and the Indians and the Pilgrims were super buddies. They were
because the Spanish had already killed a bunch of them, and
This was like, you gotta think, we didn't exist. There was no Oklahoma. There was no Texas. There was no Florida.
Right.
There was just a little bit of New England. And so there's like vast everything. There's more than enough. And the Pilgrims were having a rough time. And the Indians were very helpful. And they had a great relationship until it became more and more concentrated, people. And then it's like everything else. I mean, you look at cities and how just dog eat dog it is, because there's less of everything to go around.
Some of this goes to what I wanted to talk about today, because today is the anniversary of
Brown versus education.
Brown versus education. And first of all, this picture has always really disturbed me, because my heart has gone out to this sweet little girl, Ruby Bridges. Where are her parents? For her to be walked in and out with these, what had to be terrifying to her, these men that she doesn't know. And anyway, so she's the first Black child to attend a whites only school. The other thing that was telling to me is, I did the math on this, and it says on this day in 1960, 2,373 days after SCOTUS hands down their decision. Like, I know the wheels of justice turn slow, but that is more than 6.5 years after the Brown versus Board of Education decision. Then I click on this and I start reading some of this, and there's people dying all over the place during this decision going through. And it's actually the Brown. Okay, this made me think of the recent Roe versus Wade decision that got overturned, and everybody's up in arms about it. And there was a lot of misinformation about what it was actually overturning, and it was actually following the Constitution and giving the decision back to states. Hold on one sec. And this it overturned the far-reaching decision of Plessy versus Ferguson. So then this goes into, at the very end of this, after a bunch of people are dying and then somebody else dies after the decision and blah blah blah. You guys can, I'll put the link in the description so you can read about this. But it said that the justices should not be making a decision about the law because they're supposed to interpret the law, not make a change or a decision. That's Congress is supposed to make a law. And it's going to be just as thing as the Dred Scott. Where is it that it said they should not be? Basically, they were creating a law with this decision. And where is it? Unanimity. Mm-hmm. Oh, where is it? How that segregation, we must convene, announcement made. Brown and Justice Robert Jackson died. Picked his replacement. Oh, where is it? Dang it, it might be in the next article.
One thing is about, you can see this at that time, probably most of the Supreme Court, not all of them, were extremely racist, but they were at least a little racist. But still, the Supreme Court always upheld the law versus their own feelings. Throughout history, it's always kind of boggled my mind. And when politics has become so theatrical, that with them it's like, that's the law. Doesn't matter what my personal feelings are. This is how it needs to be. And that's, probably one of if you ever look at Muhammad Ali, there's like bad racist judges. I mean, and they were like, no, he can do that. He has the right to his religion, and it's everything. It was Muslim and black. Those are two things that 1970s, 60s racist judges would have been just frothing at the mouth about, and they still sided with him. I don't know. So it's just, I think the Supreme Court is all that's holding the country together. But the Roe versus Wade thing, this election, a lot of I think this also showed how they don't care. The bad guys are in control. There was like a little red wave, or little blue wave this last time. Conservatives got, just like Vivek said, trounced and crushed. It's blatant now. But I think Ohio, like 3 states put it in their constitution that women have the right to abortion. They put it in their constitution, which is bonkers.
Their state.
But the news is like blowing this up. Like, see, Roe versus Wade was wrong because these states are doing it. And I'm like, that's literally what
the Roe versus Wade was about.
No one is saying that. And it's like, that proves they're right. It's like when someone's arguing with you and they prove your point by arguing with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that means people in Ohio would like to have abortion, and people in Texas don't. Gay marriage was always legal in the United States. Well, not always, but it was legal for a long, long time in like New Hampshire and some other state. So there's like 2 states where you could go and get married. So that's this. I don't know why no one makes these points. That's why Roe versus Wade was wrong, because it wasn't about abortion, but it had been used for that for so long. But yeah, you're talking about like the similarities between that time and case.
Well, I just saw that it overturned this Plessy versus Ferguson. So then I go start reading about this Plessy versus Ferguson. And in this Plessy versus Ferguson, they start talking about how it's none of the government's business what race somebody is. And it's like, they take something and they make it a lie this far. You know what I mean? Like the Roe versus Wade thing. Oh, that's, about um, abortion rights. No, it wasn't. Is about giving the states the right to decide. We the people of the state the right to decide what those are. And so this Brown versus the Board of Education overturned the Plessy versus Ferguson, which the Plessy versus Ferguson basically was about. It's also about eminent domain, how it shouldn't be the government's right to tell people about moving, having your liberty, your ability to move, and they shouldn't be able to ask. There's a whole thing about this guy sat somewhere on a train. And it's like, well, you told me I had to sit on the white area or the black area. And it was like, well, he may look this one color, but if you look at his bloodlines, he's actually more white than he is black. And so he sat on the white side. Well, then because of it, he got fined and arrested and all this. Uh-oh, do I lose Sean or me? Somebody blinked off. Anyway, it's just very interesting. So like I said, I have more questions on this than answers, really.
Well,
And
I've seen this picture like, a bajillion times,
Mhm.
but I haven't really thought about it, now that I'm an adult. And if you go back to the picture, it's just at that time is when there was a lot of change going on with this. This is like the beginning of it. But look at the picture. Like you said it. Where are her parents?
Where are her parents?
It shouldn't. It's literally like we are.
She's terrified.
We are the government. There's a cop in the back. It almost looks made up to show you.
Oh, sure
we're talking about government schools and giving your kids over to the government and the government's in total control. It shouldn't be like that. It should have been like the Supreme Court saying, "Hey, that's wrong," and then her parents sending her off to school. Maybe there's police or something, but they're not up in their business. They're on the sidelines looking out for potential threats. They're not literally. She's just been handed over to the government, and the government.
Remember that it was more than 6.5 years since the decision of Brown versus Board of Education. I bet this little girl isn't 6.5 years old.
True.
Like, think of that, the significance of that.
Mm-hmm.
And she is by herself with these 3 grown men, probably armed, walking to school by herself. This is so, when we can't see that something's wrong here.
I never noticed. What are they wearing on their arms?
I think they're marshals or something, but I do not know that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's U.S. Marshal. Yeah, U.S. Marshal.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's
Department U.S. Marshal. Man, look at her little face. Bless her little heart. Her little brow is down. Like, she is terrified.
We used to dress so much nicer, though.
I know, she looks adorable.
Tie clips. Nobody wears tie clips. I wear tie clips.
No, I was looking at her. She looks adorable. With her little sweater and
nobody wears
hat and shoes, white little socks. Precious.
Everyone wears baseball caps. Nobody wears nice hats. I wear nice hats. My kids make fun of me for it. They're literally like, "Dad, you're not black. Don't wear that. You can't pull it off." I'm like, yes, I can.
And look at these guys smirking in the background.
Who's that dude? The guy looks like he's from the future coming. Like Neo's poking his head out.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think there's a lot more to question there. So then, like I said, I started reading this Plessy versus Ferguson, and in it they are talking about tribunals. they're talking about liberty, that it's slavery implies involuntary servitude, a state of bondage, ownership of mankind as chattel, or at least labor services to benefit another, the absence of a legal right to dispose of his own property and services, talking about the slaughterhouse case. So I just think if I had more time to dig into this, and I think we all should just stop and read both of these. And I would love to have a conversation with Greg and you. And
yeah, I was thinking you should ask Greg about this on Thursday. Gazoo, I think he was wearing sunglasses in the back there, poking his head out.
You think that was Greg?
No, that was Gump. It was Forrest Gump.
Oh, you think that
Gazoo asked, "Where's Gump?" And I was like, "That's who's poking his head out with the sunglasses."
It's Forrest.
It's Forrest, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought it was very, I like to ask questions, and I think we should all be asking lots of questions right now about what's going on in the world. And we have a big case in Oklahoma about tribal lands and eminent domain with the turnpike that they keep putting in. So they keep adding a new section of turnpike. And as long as they're adding a section somewhere, they charge on all of the turnpikes, which they should not be doing. As soon as the turnpike is paid for through the tolls, they should not be charging for that section of turnpike, because the people that are, if they're putting a turnpike in Yukon, Oklahoma, I shouldn't be paying for that because I never drive on that. But that's not the way they rigged it up.
I think we should start doing something with history that we haven't ever done before or needed to do, I guess, is like you look at, like, because history is written by the victors.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is the big thing, but what was going on at that time? Like you asked, what was going on at the time that this could have been the distraction? Like it says for 5 years, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's do this.
6.5 years. 6.5 years.
What was going on at that time that this could have been the huge distraction?
Yeah.
What did they get done? Because they, that was the time when it was after the 50s, when we still, we thought our government was still, a good.
Well, they're about to go to war, right? This is almost Vietnam, 1960.
No, that was a good ways before Vietnam. Wasn't Vietnam like?
Because my mom graduated high school in 1964.
Computer, when did the Vietnam War start? Computer, when did the Vietnam War start?
The Vietnam War started on November 1st, 1955.
Oh, after.
Jesus. No, that was 5 years before this.
I'm saying this happened after.
55. Yeah.
So it was wrapping up then. People were asking for peace then at this time.
No, that we were embroiled. It didn't.
So it was just in the heat of it, in the middle of it?
Yeah. Computer. When did the Vietnam War end?
The Vietnam War ended on April 30th, 1975.
Yeah, 75. No, I thought it was like 70 or 68.
Well, because my mom graduated high school in 64. Kennedy was killed in...
So it was 20 years?
In 64, right?
Around for 20 years? A 20-year war? I think in the 60s is when it was like really huge.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I guess you look at how long we were in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And we're technically still in Iraq. All right, let's jump over to my channel.
Crazy.
Hello, everybody.
All right, thanks, guys. Jump over to Sean's channel.
Very good, you guys. That is awesome.
Yes, please hit the like.
They have. You have 14 likes.
Oh, thank you.
I'm watching it. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Head over to my channel. See y'all over there.
See you there.